Hey everybody, it's Mr. Kaufman here, putting together your lesson 13.1 tutorial video to give you some extra help with tonight's homework assignment. And as you may recall, for classwork, we were finding the equivalence of customary units of length. So that means that we were finding how two units of length have equivalence, how they are the same length even though they may have different units and different numbers for each one. All right, so we are going to ignore the top part because the top part is a multiple step problem that's a little bit different than anything your homework looks like. And we're going to jump right to your homework. Okay, for number one, you will see that I have provided you some help and you are going to be responsible for filling in the answer. When you do so, you're going to be writing greater than or less than in the box, in the circle to make the statement true. Number two, I've already done for you, so I'll walk you through that one. And then number three, you're going to do by yourself. Okay? So, let me help you with number one. All right, now, on the homework tonight, you will notice that I have provided you this customary units of length conversion chart or table. This is going to be what we used in class today, and you're going to use this to help you do the rest of the problems on tonight's homework. So that's what my little note here tells you. So for our first problem tonight, we have 8 inches is what compared to 8 feet? So we know we are comparing inches and feet. So the second thing that we're going to look at is the numbers. Now, because both of the numbers or both of the amounts of the unit of measure are the same, this is a special kind of problem. Like the note says here, both measurements have the same amount or number. So you can cross out the numbers and look at the units of measure. So like you'll see, I've crossed out the amounts.
Jason Rodriguez to security desk for dismissal.
And now I'm showing you the units of measure. Now I'm comparing inches and feet. So think, which unit of measure is longer? Inches or feet? Well, I'm going to use my handy dandy ruler and give you a little help. This is about how long an inch is, from 0 to 1, the distance between my thumb and my hand. That's about an inch. Okay? Now, this ruler is about a foot. It's not about a foot, it's exactly a foot. So I think you can figure out which unit of measure is longer, inches or feet, for number one. Okay? Now, for number two, it gets a little trickier. All right, for number two, we're being asked to compare 5 yards to 12 feet. All right, so first thing you need to notice and pay attention to right away. We have 2 different units of measure. We cannot compare 2 different units of measure and write greater than and equal to if the numbers are different. Okay? Here, the numbers were the same. So all we did was look to see which one's bigger, inches or feet. For number 2, it is different. Not only is the unit of measure different, but the numbers are different. That means we're going to need our handy dandy conversion chart. So we are converting yards to feet. So the first thing I want to do is I want to identify what am I working between. I'm working between the measurements, the units, yards and feet. Okay? According to my table here, I know 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So I know 1 yard is equal to 3 feet.
Amani Liverman to security for dismissal.
Unfortunately, we're going to have a lot of announcements, I think. So I apologize for any interruptions you hear. Okay, now that I've got my problem set up, I know which units I'm going back and forth between, and I know my conversion, yards and feet. 1 yard is 3 feet. I'm going to set up for myself a little table. And the reason why I'm setting this up is because this will help me organize my information. I know that 1 yard is 3 feet based on my conversion table. I have to figure out how many feet are in 5 yards. So I'm going to start by going to 2 yards. If 1 yard is 3 feet, then 2 yards times 3 feet will tell me how many yards there are, how many feet there are in 2 yards. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. So I know there's 6 feet in 2 yards. Now let's do 3 yards. We're going to repeat 3 yards times 3 feet equals 9 feet. So I know that 3 yards and 9 feet are equivalent measures. Let's continue because we have to go all the way to 5. 4 yards times 3 feet is 12 feet. So 4 yards is equal to 12 feet. Now finally, let's do 5 yards. 5 yards times 3 feet equals 15 feet. So I know that 5 yards is equal to 15 feet. So now I can say 15 feet is what compared to 12 feet? Well, I know 15 feet is greater than 12 feet. So that is why you'll see on your homework, Mr. Kaufman put greater than. Okay? So that matches what I have here. Now I want you to pay close attention to something really, really important. You may notice that all of these yard measurements were multiplied by 3 feet. Think about that. Why is that? Well, that's because 1 yard is 3 feet. So that tells me what I'm multiplying every one of these by here to get my answer for the number of feet. Okay? So you'll notice that pattern repeat for other problems as the conversions and the units change. Okay, so you're going to do the same exact thing for number 3 when it comes time, except for number 3, you're going to be converting between yards and inches. And if you look at your table here that I provided you, you'll see yards and inches in the second row. So you'll do that for number 3 right now. Okay? Now, for my friends who are seeing this video for the very first time, you are going to notice Mr. Kaufman made a boo-boo on his homework example for number 4. And I have already changed that example because I found that boo-boo while I was working on this tutorial video. So Mr. Kaufman's friends who are seeing my boo-boo can fix my mistake, and as I do number 4 with you, you can fix it as you go. Okay? So number 4, 5, 6, and 7 are simply asking us to convert or change the unit from one to another. Okay? So let me show you how we do that. All right. Number 4 is asking us to convert 25 feet and tell how many inches that is equal to. Okay? So the very first thing we want to identify is the 2 units of measure that we're working with. We're going from feet to inches. All right? Now that I know I'm going from feet to inches, I'm going to set up my handy dandy table just like I did before for my other unit of measure, this time matching what we're working with. Okay, so if I want to look back at my little cheat code for lesson 13.1, I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So 1 foot is 12 inches. We're going from feet to inches, so now I'm going to solve for 2 feet. So 2 feet times 12 inches means that there are 24 inches in 2 feet. Now I was able to do that mentally. If you need to do that on paper and work that out, you can feel free to do that either down here at the bottom or to the side. Okay, but I was able to do that mentally. I'm going to do one more for you and then we're going to talk. 3 feet. 3 feet times 12 inches equals 36 inches. And again, you'll notice there's a repeating pattern. I'm multiplying by 12. This time by 12 because 1 foot is 12 inches. See that? 1 foot is 12 inches. Now let me ask you this. Do I need to know how many inches are in 2 feet for this problem? Not really. Do I need to know how many inches are in 3 feet for this problem? Not really. I showed you how to do it. So that way you could continue and find 25. Now, some of you are going to do this and do 4, and you're going to do the same thing, and then you're going to do 5, and then you're going to do the same thing, you're going to do 6, and you're going to keep on going until you get all the way to 25. Well, let me ask you this. Do we need to know any of those? The answer is no. Let's just skip to 25. You don't have to skip all these lines. You could just do it right after number 3. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it would look like this. Just go right to 25. It's the same thing. Let's do 25 feet times 12 inches and find how many inches there are. Notice again, I'm still multiplying by 12. But I got a way bigger problem. I'm not going to do that mentally. I'm going to have to do an area model. So let's do ourselves an area model down here. All right. I have 25 times 12. 20 and 5 times 10 and 2. 20 times 10 is 200. 5 times 10 is 50. That's where Mr. Kaufman made his boo-boo on the homework, you'll see. 20 times 2 is 40. And 5 times 2 is 10. All right. Now you don't have to highlight everything like this, but you will see Mr. K did highlight everything like this. So if it helps you, then go for it. Okay. But I'm going to highlight all my partial products just so you can see what they are. And that'll give you some time to fix your paper where Mr. Kaufman made his boo-boo on his model. And our last one. Fantastic. So I have my 4 partial products. So I have 200 plus 50, which is where you'll see Mr. Kaufman made his boo-boo, plus 40 plus 10. And if you want to highlight these, you can. They match. 10, 50. That's where Mr. Kaufman made his boo-boo. 200 and 40. Okay? If I add all those partial products up, 0, 0, 0, and 0 make 0. 0 and 5 and 4 make 9. 9 and 1 make 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And now that answer is going to be my answer to tell me 25 feet is equal to 300 inches. So that is where Mr. Kaufman got his answer from for number 4. Okay? You are going to use everything Mr. K did here for number 4 to help you do 5, 6, and 7. And then when you get down to numbers 8 and 9, you're actually going to do the same exact thing, except you need to tell me the measurements for all of these feet and all of these yards. So you are going to want to make sure you do the ones that they tell you when you create your table. But it'll be the same sort of problem like I did for you for number 4. All right, I hope that helps you with your homework. Good luck, take your time, and as always, check your work. See you soon.